Okay, so here what is happening is we are taking a kind of particular sample by a particular gauge of needle. Now this could be a already taken up sample which has been already done ectomized, or eventually taken into a sample container. Many a times there are cases where the aspiration should be done on the live animal, or the patient, on the body of the patient himself or herself, and subsequently we will put it on a particular kind of slide. Many a times these are some specific slides, and for later on purpose we can able to also put it in a particular vial, and subsequently we will make a particular kind of smear which depends entirely on the which kind of tissue we are handling. Now after preparing this thing, the tissue, we need to do several other processes in order so that we can eventually end up with a specific kind of diagnosis for the tissue. So going to the slide now. So what happens is, under the microscope, what exactly we do? We do kind of various kinds of imagings. So this is a basic this thing for the imagings that we do for various kinds of diagnosis. The first one, which I have shown you, is the last one, but let us go on from the first one. In image informatics, there are some structural imaging for gross abnormalities, whether these are kind of like to identify which kind of metastasis is there, whether it is still a benign stage and which is not yet been enlarged and may not have metastasized into some other kind of tissue. So for those gross abnormalities, we will use structural imagings, as you know, radiography, ultrasound, and various kinds of tomography and MRI. Subsequently, there are some functional imaging aspect which will give you some kind of internal functional kind of insight through the imaging itself, Doppler, then fluorescent MRI, then various kinds of spectroscopy, positron emission tomography, PET, which has been a revolution in cancer research in India. Then there are various aspects of nuclear medicines as well, where we can, for example, as I have said, theranostic, where we have put into a particular kind of antibody which is tagged with a fluorescent tag. For example, I'll give you some more hands-on an example. For example, BRCA. Now, BRCA, as you know, that is a case of a breast cancer. So the BRCA will appear only in the mutated version of BRCA will only appear on the surface of the the breast cancer tissue. So, and rest of the other tissue, this particular antigen is not there. So if we can channelize a particular antibody, a monoclonal antibody, towards this BRCA altered antigen, then what can happen is we can target the particular kind of this thing antibody to the body itself for therapy as well as diagnostics. So if this particular antigen antibody interaction is successful, so what does it mean? It means that the patient is suffering from breast cancer. Otherwise, this particular antigen could not been have there, isn't it? It is something like something like there are plenty of different examples like this, but the BRCA antigen for breast cancer is the most celebrated one, because there has been a very successful therapy, as you know, Herceptin, a monoclonal antibody, which is like a magic bullet for this particular breast cancer cases. Now there are optical imaging. Now this is the thing that we do under microscope, but the histopathology, fluorescent microscopy, and electron microscopy, these are the things that we do with the tissue. Now there is a problem with this. So what happens is it needs a lot of training, skill to do excellent diagnosis on the basis of the things that you see under a microscope. So a scientific fraternity try to minimize the human skill intensive process in order to make some kind of machine learning algorithms which they can understand by themselves whether which kind of tissue is this, and at the same time whether a particular kind of cancer is there or not. So there are some developments that has been done with respect to image informatics, where we were able to identify a particular kind of problem that may be seen under a microscope. A less skilled technician may not able to identify them, but the machine itself can identify it. Now, how exactly we do it? For that, we have a standard, what you call as a protocol, HASTE, where the microscopic imaging is fed into a particular online classification system, which is a neural network, and then subsequently it identifies a particular kind of what you call cancer, and does the what shall I say is the scoring. On the basis of the scoring, the analytics or scoring, the clinician can take his or her decisions. So we'll come to those kind of things a little later also. So in genomic medicine era, what will happen? So how we did the transition? So the transition was done in such a way. The transition was done in such a way that there were several already available existing technologies which we tried to incorporate and try to find what are the new innovations that can be done. So we'll see one more video of a conventional karyotyping that you are already aware of.